Well, the weekend's almost over, so we gotta review three wrestling shows this entire week, which is starting with Dragon Gate and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course, AEW's Full Gear. All of that will be reviewed and discussed on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, many promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, Jay Rod here. So right now, let's get into Dragon Gate. As you know, I've been following them now since their latest event, the Gate of Destiny. This time, there is an event that it was posted, which is down in Korakuen Hall. If you guys familiarize with the New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, or many Japanese promotions that actually did a lot of shows there. It starts out with RED coming out to celebrate the fact Eita is still the Open the Dream Gate champion. They gain a brand new member, which is Kento Kanube, who is also now 1/3 of the Open the Triangle Gate championship, along with Yoshida and Kazuma. Now, Kento took the opportunity, feeling that RED is the top faction, even though there was no English commentating for this one. I can try to guess what they're trying to say, but now he doesn't want to go by Kento Kanobe. He now goes by SB Kento. So basically, it's now his new name. But at the same time, while this was happening, two of his stablemates are in fact facing off against two of his friends who were part of the same class with him before he sided with RD. That was Makoto Kikuta and Takede Kamea, facing off against BB King and, of course, Yoshida. The match was pretty much like I expected. Basically, it's always RD facing off against the newer comers in the entire time. But I don't know how it happened. I don't know what exactly they're saying in Japanese. But however, when the match was over in RD's favor, it looks more like Kento is trying to tell them that they're better off joining RED since they are the most dominating faction. So far, they only have two of the championships. They're trying to obtain right now on their goal to get the Open the Twin Gate, and of course, they just recently lost the Open the Brave Gate. So let's move on to the entire show. The next match, it was an 8-man tag. It was Modoi Ru Gamma and Masakai Mochizuki versus members from Toryumon Generation. You got Yashushida Kanda, Genki Horiguchi, and of course Susu Yoshika. So they were facing off again once again. As you know, Gamma and Mochizuki is in fact are two of the top veterans. They're in their 50s, facing off against guys who are not even there yet, but you know what I mean. They're like almost in the same past. But watching this match also shows that Tournament are still strong as always. But like I keep saying earlier in the previous about Dragon Gate, they are trying to see who will control Dragon Gate. However, Tournament a generation won this match, and it's very surprising. Even though Mochizuki is beside himself that he can't afford to lose again, even though he's cut between not only with Dragon Gate but also with Pro Wrestling Noah. So they are a good team. Next team is a tag team match, which is Dragon Gate Generation, the Jason Lee and the newly crowned Open the Brave Gate champion Okuda versus RED member Kazuma Sakamoto and of course the former Open the Brave Gate champion Kaito Ishida. The match was pretty much more like a tense rivalry between both Ishida and Okuda, since you all know I mentioned previous that Okuda beat Ishida for the title. But however, the match ended in a disqualification thanks to RED. If you guys know this, RED are capable of anything. There are like the only villainless faction in Dragon Gate so far. Like right now, like I said, there's only 3 stable factions, so RD is the only villain faction. Next match we have Team Boku, Shimusu, Punch Tomiguchi, Rai Sato, and Naruki Doi versus Toramon members Masato Yoshino, Don Fuji, Keijo Aria, and of course Ultimo Dragon. Now, as you know, Team Boku and Toron, they have a bit of an alliance because if you guys know, most of these guys from Team Boku were trained under Ultimo Dragon, part of the Toramon faction, but they want to do something away for a time being to make themselves a different, unique team away from what Toramon are doing. But they still remain an alliance. They don't hold grudges. I think they're doing that because of what happened with Shimizu, who was in fact a member of RAD until he got kicked out. But it was a good match, of course. Seeing Ultimo Dragon has never changed my perspective about him. Um, I enjoyed watching Ultimo Dragon, and of course, Team Boku are an interesting group. They're like a bit of a comedy group. You know, that's something. Normally, I would see that in Japan if it's with DDT Pro Wrestling, but it didn't happen that way. So this time, it's these guys who. So this time, it's Team Boku who added a bit of the comedy routine. But however, it's Toramon who took the victory on this one, thanks to what's his name again? Um, to Yoshin Masato, who always takes the victory on this one. So if you guys are interested in watching Dragon Gate, Masato, he had appeared in Impact Wrestling along with Doi, known as Speed Muscle. But yeah, I'll tell you guys more about that down the line. The next match is Dragon Gate Generation UT Yuki Santa Maria, and of course Ben K versus more members of Toramon. One is Dragon Kid, Shuri Konda, and of course Kagatora. Much of this, as you guys know, half of each of the teams were part of a faction known as Tribal Vanguard. They're still basically it's more like not it's like some of these guys can pick up their moves, especially when it comes to Santa Maria, who actually knows Kagatora and moves better because they have been teaming a lot together. But however, the Dragon Gate continues to show more of their uniqueness. So Dragon Gate Generation took this victory thanks to Yusuke Santa Maria, who actually pulled it off. Next, and I think the main event is Dragon Gate Generation, Dragon Dai, Kota Minoura, and Yamato and KZ versus, my surprise, RED, Dai Inferno, SB Kento, Eita, and Kai. So practically the same old result as always. You know, RAD always been a faction. They try to cheat their way through. But however, they did that. They won the match, try to beat up. Even SB Kento tried to set up a point how dominant now the RD is going to control Dragon Gate. But however, they received another surprise visit in post match by Shun Skywalker, who is asking Eita that if he's willing to put his championship on the line. Now, Eita doesn't want to put the title. He wants to hold on to it, believing that he doesn't need to, but Dragon Gate's not going to allow him just to hold on to it, so he has to defend it regardless. But we'll see what happens. I would like to see Shun Skywalker and Eita face. So let's move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle. Okay, so New Japan Pro Wrestling had their latest event, Before we get into the new tournaments, which is the best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League, we got Power Struggle. Now, normally in this particular event, we have the Junior Tag League. Basically, it's the tournament for the junior heavyweight tag team division. But so far, there's not a lot of them right now. Half of them are in fact foreigners, either from the UK, here in the US, or any foreign relations that New Japan has. So, this particular event has many matches for title opportunities, briefcase exchanges. So, let's start with the interesting match, which is the KOPW 2020 in a no corner pad match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Toru Yano. This rivalry between both Zack Sabre Jr. and Toru Yano has been taking back and forth many times over. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. has always been impressive, been known as the best technical wizard, or if you guys don't believe this, he has also been named as the Master Dickhead. It's no joke, because the reason he says that, he calls people dickheads. So don't ask me why. But I love watching this rivalry. If you guys didn't see this on the G1, I'll repeat this anyway. My favorite moment in the G1 is where Toru Yano and Zack Sabre Jr. were trying to throw in a little bit of the amateur wrestling style. So Toru Yano gets down on his knees and hands, like when you do press, like in the dog style position, where they try to grab you around your waist to pull you up or try to turn you over. Zack Sabre tried to do that, like, come on, Mr. Amateur Wrestler, let's get down. Okay, and he goes straight to the turnbuckle to remove it. So, but this time, Zack Sabre Jr. not only wants to take the trophy that he obtained at Summer Strong's at Jingu, he wants to retire him for good. But man, this match was brutal. I don't know what Toru Yano was thinking. He requested the turnbuckle pads to remove. There was no safety. But he tried to put one, but Zack Sabre Jr. was like, no. But one thing that was funny, while he was outside the ring, Zack Sabre Jr. had him in a submission, and he grabbed his leg, unaware to him. Toru Yano somehow was able to pass one and tied his shoelaces tight, and he was unable. When the ref was counting, he didn't realize that Toru Yano actually tied his shoelaces. It was a very smart trick that he pulled. I don't know how he was able to pull that off, but it was so funny. But it was so funny, Zack Sabre Jr. couldn't even get out of it until one of the young lions actually brought his scissors and cut it off. And at the moment that happened, Zack Sabre Jr. grabs the scissors and chases the young lion. I think he's pissed that he didn't see that one, or frustrated that he lost. But it was a good match. I loved it. Now, the next match, this one is for the Never Openweight Championship between the previous champion, Shingo Takagi, versus the King and the current champion, Minoru Suzuki. So this rivalry between them went back some point after the New Japan brought back their events, and Minoru Suzuki targeted because, in a way, it's this. Minoru Suzuki has always been the guy up for a challenge against anybody. And basically what was happening is he challenged Shingo Takagi. Give me a minute. Sorry about that, folks. My cat got something, and I try to take it out. But anyway, this match was so brutal. Like, punches and all this. I was like, wow. I could not imagine what I saw between Minoru Suzuki and Takagi. And in the end of the match, it was Takagi who prevailed and reclaimed the Never Openweight Championship. So basically, he got this title back. And as for Suzuki, instead of him having that grin on his face, how he lost, he was like still shocked. like the amount of brutality that both these men put out, it changed. I don't know what happened, but it was so brutal. I think this is one of those good matches we gotta pay attention. If you guys ever seen it. So Minoru Suzuki Shingo Takagi regained the title, but now let's move on to the next one. Right, this one has now become a rivalry between both Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay. So basically, Okada, in the other hand, his main focus is to get his hands on Will Ospreay for betraying him. Uh, Okada always looked at Will Ospreay as a little brother, someone that he brought from the UK. But however, the only way to get to Will Ospreay is to get through the one person that stands in his way, and that person is the Great Okan. So this was one of those matches that it kind of Kazuchika Okada cannot afford to lose. It was more like he has to get to this guy, get through great from try to get through Khan in order to get to Will Ospreay. But the more he tried, the more he had to find a way to get around them, and he did that by applying the money clip submission on him, and this allowed him to win the match. But however, post match, Ospreay said that he will take an opportunity to beat down Okada, and he already issued the challenge at the grandest stage in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm talking about Wrestle Kingdom 15. Now, it's still no clear yet if it's going to be on the first or the second night. As you all know, Wrestle Kingdom is a 2-night event, January 4th and January 5th. So I will be waiting on that to see how it goes, and pretty much it. Now, the next match, it's for the IWGP United States Championship contract that that is now being currently held by Kenta. Hiroshi Tanahashi wants to face Jon Moxley, but however, Kenta wants Jon Moxley. He wants the title. So, however, this match was between both these men. So this was no title. This is more of trying to obtain the briefcase that contains the contract to this title match. Now it's still unclear when Moxley will return due to the restrictions of the pandemic that we're all facing. So I'll find out more if things go back the way normal. Moxley said that his contract with them is already up, but he will love nothing more than the continue working with New Japan. And I think that's a good thing that New Japan needs. They need guys like him to expand more to the American wrestling way. So I was like, it was so brutal, but it kind of makes you think, okay, does Kenta would be able to retain the title due to his effectiveness as a striker? The answer is yes. So he was able to retain that contract. So anybody can still come after him for that title. I know Jeff Cobb wants a piece of him, but the real question is, when will that happen? So Kenta retained the briefcase with the contract. Now the next one is another briefcase obtained. This one is between Jay White and G1 winner Kota Ibushi. Now, Jay White will stop at nothing in his path to obtain what is rightfully his. I'm talking about the IWGP Heavyweight and the Intercontinental Championship. Early this year for Wrestle Kingdom, Jay White wanted to obtain both the titles. So basically, he was unable to, but this time he is determined to obtain it. Kota Ibushi, who has been the one guy who he hasn't had the opportunity to hold the heavyweight championship yet. But of course, you could not forget about that weasel Ghetto costing trying to get in the way. But however, Jay White pulled a fast one. He cheated his way on this one to obtain the briefcase with the contract, and he's going to go straight to WrestleMania. Wrestle Kingdom, my bad. Wrestle Kingdom 15. Now it's main event time. And as JR would say, it's slobber knocker time. This is for the IWGP double championship between former member of LIJ Evil along with Dick Togo versus the current champion Tetsuya Naito, who is the leader of LIJ. Now, as you know, Evil has believed to himself that he is the real champion and the rental that Tetsuya have titles are due, and they're going back to his ways. But this match was also another amazing match. But of course, you cannot forget about Dick Togo trying to make sure that he wins the match. And that's what he did. He interfered, but he wasn't the only one. I don't know what's going on within Bullet Club, but Yujiro Takahashi showed up and helped Evil. But luckily for Naito, he gets help from his members, Sanada, and he took out both the trash, and somehow he was able to beat Evil by applying the Destino move on him, allowing him to win the match. But that wasn't the case. Jay White showed up along with Ibushi. Jay White tried to do something. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But however, post-match he came back to tell him that he has the contract that would allow him to face him. Now, he did state it that one of the days for the Wrestle Kingdom will be his day off. He wants it on the 5th. But however, he believes that he got what he wanted, but Kota Ibushi is still upset that he lost it in a way that he did not want to lose. So basically, he just still not bitter, but upset how it goes. But Jay White is saying, "I'm the winner. You get nothing." But this was never aired, but it was later revealed on the Wrestling Observer. Naito said that he would like to face Kota Ibushi on the first night. Now, this is something huge. I did not expect this out of Naito because I thought he would follow the rules. But however, I think he's trying to be smart enough that if he faces Kota Ibushi, it'd probably be okay for him for a while. Or he may feel sorry for Kota that he lost the briefcase, that he probably was looking forward to facing him in Wrestle Kingdom instead of Jay White. So whatever the case is, it made a lot more. It probably would make more sense. So it's still no official word if New Japan is going to allow him to face Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom, even though Jay White has the contract and he can't face Naito for the titles. We'll just wait and see. So let's move on to AEW's Full Gear. Alright, so let's talk about the latest AEW pay-per-view, Full Gear. Now, this is one of those pay-per-views I have to say was one of the best ones this year that AEW had put out. And not only because it's the best, they had some great stories, great matches, but also some title exchanges that we expected. Now, normally when I talk about reviewing things like this, I never review about the buy-in, but this one I feel like I had to. In the buy-in, they only had one match that they actually put out, which is for the NWA World Women's Championship. It was Serena Deb versus the former champion Allison Kay. Now, for all of you who never heard of Allison Kay, she was with the NWA. She was the previous title holder of that particular title, and she lost it to Thunder Rosa at Hard Times. And of course, we've been seeing Thunder Rosa a lot, but this is one of those matches where it's like, okay, now if you guys don't know this, Allison Kay, in the other hand, is a free agent. She's no longer with the NWA. So I know some of you are saying she should be in WWE or AEW. It all depends where she feels is the right move for her. So we just got to, but the match was great. It was good. Not the best. Well, I have to say it's between the best and good. Somewhere around there. But however, I think this match showed a bit more of Serena Deb. Like, if you guys don't know this, I feel like Serena Deb never was given the opportunity to show what a good wrestler she is, because if you guys know her history, she was a coach with the Performance Center. But now it's like we're getting to see the Serena Deb that we should have seen a long time ago. And she pulled off the match by doing a sort of like a Boston crab with one leg, allowing herself to win the match against Allysin Kay. But however, we just received the sudden return of La Mera Mera, the former the NWA Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa. So it appears that she is gonna do to retain her title. Now, some of you guys are saying she should be in the WWE, but like I said, I keep saying this over. People keep assuming certain things. Billy Corgan has already assured she is still with NWA until throughout 2021. And of course, Thunder Rosa did state it that she is behind NWA 1000%, even during this time of the pandemic. So let's jump in to the main card. First match, well, before the first match, we had a surprise visit from Impact Wrestling commentator and possibly one of the EVPs, Don Callis, who was invited by Kenny Omega to do commentary for this particular match. The match is the finals for the AEW World Title Eliminator, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. I think this is one of those matches that you'd be like, wow. But it did tell the story about how Kenny Omega's like saying, look, I'm done being a tag team. You are a tag team. But of course, Hangman, who could forget last year? He had an opportunity to become champion, but it didn't go exactly his way. But both men were determined to obtain that opportunity. And that match went up to Kenny Omega when he applied the one-wing angel. So, Kenny won. He moves up to face whoever wins between either Moxley or Kingston. Now, the next match is a sort of a grudge match between both John Silver and Orange Cassidy. Now, this particular match started a while ago. If you recall, it was John Silver who cost Orange Cassidy the chance to win the TNT Championship because they felt that championship should have been with Brody Lee. But however, they kept getting in the way. And this time, Orange Cassidy gets his payback. And it was a good match. A bit of the comedy routine. And I think it was really good. I have to say, but I know some of you saying Orange Cassidy should be champion or so. I don't disagree with you. I feel they should. But I think they're trying to build him up more. I would like to see him either hold the TNT title. That would be nice to see. So he won his match. The next match is the AEW TNT Championship between Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes. Yes, I say his name. Cody Rhodes. It's back. So he finally obtained his last name. I'm so happy. But man, this match also told another great story. As you know, many of the officials within TNT never did believe that Darby Allin could be the face of the company, but this time it kind of went that way. But in the other hand, you look at Cody throughout this match throwing a bit of his cockiness. Arn Anderson, who's the coach, is telling him, don't do that, stop doing that. Just go after him. But I think in that kind of storytelling, it explains that Cody did not focus on the task at hand. And because of that, it allowed Darby Allin, holy shit, to win the match and become the new TNT champion. Now, as much there was a celebration, Taz is still pissed off, angry, saying that this is a load of crap. And of course, Darby Allin was attacked and Cody too by both Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. But there was a moment when they both Starks and Cage hold the TNT title. So the real question is, who could be the next challenger? It wasn't, to me, I wasn't surprised because I figured that it didn't matter if Darby Allin or Cody won. Taz would go make a play for the TNT Championship. But the real question is, who will be the lucky guy in Team Taz to obtain it? But when they try to take out Darby, here comes Will Hobbs to the rescue, running out, chasing away both Cage and Starks. But the real question is that he is going to accept Taz's invitation or he's not. Well, we'll see what happens. Now, between the next match, there was an interview with the Natural Nightmares. QT still upset over Allie's involvement, and of course, Dustin decided this coming Dynamite they're going to have a bunkhouse match between both the Butcher and the Blade. So it's going to be the Natural Nightmares and the Butcher versus the Butcher and the Blade in a bunkhouse match. I don't know what the hell is a bunkhouse, but I can't wait to see it. The next match is for the AEW Women's World Championship between the former champion Nyla Rose along with Vicky Guerrero versus Hikaru Shida. This was also a good match. Not because, here's the thing. I thought in this particular match, my money was on Nyla Rose. Not because she's big, but she's always shown her dominance. But however, the way this match was telling the story, it kind of went down exactly that. As you know, Hikaru Shida is one of the most toughest competitors in AEW and possibly the entire wrestling world too. And it told a story that she's determined to retain the title no matter what. Even so, Vicky Guerrero interfered. And I have to say, I like this one. It did show a lot of character. But however, Nyla Rose messed up. She knocked out Vicky, allowing for Shida to pick up the victors with series of knees into her face. It was so insane. I loved it. I just loved it. So let's move on to the next match. This one is for the AEW World Tag Team Championship between the Young Bucks and FTR. Now, this was the dream match fans have been waiting for years to happen. I have to say I like how it went down because it told a story. This is not the first time the Bucks had one arm back behind their back or the stack was against them. You got to remember, they made a stipulation. If they lose this match, they will not get another opportunity. And not only that, Matt Jackson has an injured ankle thanks to FTR. But FTR went for the ankle. But however, they went after Wilder's hand. I think it was Daxwood's hand. It kind of, when you see, if you remember, the Bucks do flips, FTR fist. So basically, they kind of use that as a great storyline. You got the ankles as the weakness, and then you got the fist. It's so insane. But Tully wasn't there. He was barred from ringside. So it was a great tour. I loved it. You wasn't sure how this was going to end. But the best moment that allowed this to end, Daxwood made one mistake. Or Cash, I don't know which one. One of them made the mistake. He decided to do a 450 springboard splash He did a move that it was against what Tully Blanchard taught them. Don't do that. And he did. He broke the rules. And this allowed the Bucks to pick up the victory. But the real question is how Tully's going to take. Well, I don't know. But can't wait to see what's going to happen. So, the Young Bucks are now the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now they're back on top. So the real question is FTR going to cash in their rematch clause? Or who will be the next lucky recipients to face the Bucks? We just got to wait and see. Now the next match is actually not in Jacksonville, is in Cameron, North Carolina, at the Hardy compound. The Ultimate Deletion! Yeah, it's Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy. The match was kind of insane. Like, I did not know what to think. I mean, there's been a lot of things that went all over. You see Matt and Matt and Sammy going at it. Matt brought a monster truck, and of course Neo was there too. But I did not expect Sammy to bring Santana and Ortiz. But however, Matt wasn't that idiot. He brought in backup too, so he got Private Party. So it evened the odds for them. But however, the most insane thing was the fireworks. They were shooting fireworks at each other. I'm like, wow, that's so insane. But my biggest surprise is the cameo appearance by two former WWE superstars. One was, stand back, there's a hurricane coming, all tied up, with a surprise guest from Matt's past. I'm talking about Gangrel showed up. He's in support of Sammy, saying he trained him, all this and that. I'm like, it's so insane how this was going. But Matt Hardy was able to separate Sammy from the others by taking him to the Dome of Deletion. And that's when the things went like insane. Sammy went off the stage, jumped off the escalator or the ladder, doing a swanton, but he might have injured himself onto Matt Hardy, and then maybe made things worse when Matt Hardy speared him through the tables. But it allowed him to win the match, and then he put Sammy in a trash can, and of course we saw Senor Benjamin and Rebby playing the piano. So that is insane, I have to say. So I don't know what's gonna happen this Dynamite, how Sammy is. Hope he's okay. We just gotta wait and see. Then the next match is MJF versus Chris Jericho. Now remember, Jericho did state, if MJF wins, Jericho said he joins the Inner Circle. But MJF did warn him he will do whatever it takes to win, and he was in line. He did everything. He even somehow was able to block the Judas effect. I don't know how he did it. It was so insane. I did not expect that. But, of course, who could forget Wardlow or Hager showing up? But, of course, MJF pulled the page out of Eddie Guerrero. Now, Jericho had Floyd passed on by Hagar, and of course, when what's his name, Aubrey Edwards saw that, MJF tossed himself in the bottom and he made up the pin. So that means he and Wardlow are now with the Inner Circle. But the real question is, how is the others going to take it? I'm not sure. Then we jump into a little preview. You guys don't know this. The next pay-per-view will take place on February 27th, Revolution. And of course, another interview this time was with Orange Cassidy, saying he's happy he won, doesn't know what to feel. But however, Kip Sabian is still upset over what happened the last time where Penelope could have gotten hurt by Dark Order, but he said he was sorry, but Kip says not. I was like, cool, it's cool. Kip doesn't know what to make of it. Now it's main event time. We have the AEW World Championship in a I Quit match between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. And once again, great storytelling. Basically, what you're seeing is Moxley, in the other hand, he wants to make him tap out. Eddie Kingston is determined to win that title after 18 years of struggle. They even brought in thumbtacks, rubbing oil, and it's so nuts. I don't know what to think of it. It was amazing how this storytelling, and Bryce, who was there, Bryce the referee. But I think I'm gonna, since I'm going a little longer on this, I'm gonna try to keep it short as possible. It was so insane. I was like, wow, great. But the way this match ended, Moxley pulled out a barbed wire and he put it around his arm, and then he put in the Bulldog submission on Eddie Kingston. Even Bryce, the ref, pleaded Eddie to give up. He doesn't want to see him get hurt. And of course, Kingston had no other choice but to say, I quit. So it ended with Moxley retaining his title. I have to say, this match told another great story. I'm not going to lie about it. But however, post-match, Moxley's old foe and now the number one contender has his sights on Moxley. I'm talking about Kenny. So I don't know what to make of that, but I can't wait to see this. As you know, they lost he lost in an unsanctioned match, lights out match, but this time it's going to be a clean match. Now I hope everybody enjoyed hearing me review these events. I have another Dragon Gate to review that just put out. I forgot what they call it, but I'll let you guys know on the next episode. So I will bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah! And have a nice day. Bang!